When people first walk into Closed Canyon, they're usually struck by how narrow and dramatic it feels. The tall rock walls seem to close in around you, sometimes only a few feet apart. But what you are really walking through is not just a canyon, you're walking through millions of years of history. To understand Closed Canyon, we have to go back about 100 million years. During the age of the dinosaurs, this region was covered by a shallow inland sea. Sediments like sand, mud, and silt settled on the sea floor and slowly hardened into rock. Later, intensive volcanic activity shaped much of what we now know as the Big Bend region. Lava flows, ash deposits, and uplift created layers of volcanic rock that dominate the landscape today. So Closed Canyon itself was carved primarily by water. Even though the desert seems dry most of the year, powerful flash floods have shaped this canyon over millions of years. So during heavy rains, water rushes through the narrow drainage with incredible force, carrying rocks and sediments that grind away at the canyon walls. And this over time, that erosion carved the deep, winding slot canyon we see today. The reason it's called Closed Canyon is because at certain points the walls narrow so tightly that it feels almost sealed off from the outside world. And that's the feeling we got as well when we're walking through. So a little bit of human history about the area of Big Bend. Long before this area became a state park, Native American groups lived here for thousands of years. There's archaeological evidence that shows that indigenous peoples, including ancestors of the modern-day Humano and later Apache and Comanche groups, used the Big Bend region for hunting, gathering, and for travel. The Rio Grande, not far from Closed Canyon, served as a critical lifeline. It provided water, plant life, and animal resources in an otherwise harsh desert environment. People left behind artifacts like stone tools, projectile points, and rock art throughout the Big Bend region. While Closed Canyon itself is more known for its geological features than for visible rock art, the surrounding area contains pictographs and petroglyphs that tell us about spiritual life, beliefs, survival strategies, and daily life. These early inhabitants understood the desert in a way that allowed them to thrive in it. And then in the 16th and 17th centuries, Spanish explorers entered the region, and the Rio Grande became an important geographic boundary. And over time, this area shifted between Spanish, Mexican, Confederate, and United States control. However, the remoteness of the Big Bend meant that settlement was slow and very, very difficult. In the early 20th century, as Texas began recognizing the value and preserving its natural landscapes, efforts grew to protect parts of the Big Bend region. Big Bend National Park was established in 1944 on the eastern side of the region. However, the land that includes Closed Canyon remained primarily ranch land for several more decades. It wasn't until 1988 that Big Bend Ranch State Park was officially opened. The state of Texas acquired large tracts of ranch land to preserve the rugged beauty, wildlife habitat, and cultural history of the area. At over 300,000 acres, Big Bend Ranch State Park is now the largest state park in Texas. Closed Canyon became quickly one of the park's most popular hiking destinations. Unlike some other areas of the park that require high clearance vehicles or long backcountry travel, Closed Canyon is relatively accessible from 170, the scenic River Road. This accessibility has allowed many visitors to experience a classic desert slot canyon without an extreme trek. So today when visitors hike through Closed Canyons, they are not just seeing a beautiful rock formation, they are experiencing layers of history, ancient seas, volcanic eruptions, powerful floods, indigenous cultures, ranching families, miners, and conservationists. The silence inside the canyon can feel almost sacred, and in many ways it is. It still belongs to the natives. It represents a landscape that has endured dramatic change over millions of years. This area also serves as an important reminder of the power of nature. Flash floods still occur, and they can be dangerous. Park officials told us to monitor weather carefully, and visitors are advised also to check conditions before hiking. The same forces that carved the canyon continue shaping it today. Wildlife also connects us to the past. There are species such as javelinas, mule deer, roadrunners, and various reptiles that inhabit this area, and we were fortunate to see some of those. The Rio Grande also supports even more biodiversity. For thousands of years, animals have followed the same patterns of survival. Closed Canyon is much more than a narrow hiking trail. It is a natural archive of Earth's geological transformation and human endurance. From ancient seas to modern state park visitors, this landscape tells a story of change, survival, and preservation. When you walk through its towering walls, you are stepping through a deep time, a place shaped by water, fire, and the determination of people who call this rugged land home. And when you eventually come out of the canyons, the world feels larger and much older.